What is up, guys? My name is Nick and welcome back to another Modern Warfare 2 video. Guys, today I'm going to share a class with you that's amazing in multiplayer, but it's also really good in Warzone. So this thing is overpowered, the Kastov 545. It is disgustingly strong. It has a fast ADS, a fast sprint to fire, very low recoil, making it good at all ranges, and you guys are going to love this class, so definitely go ahead and use it. We're going to go into the multiplayer class first, but before we do, guys, if you could drop a like on this, I would truly appreciate that. Sub to the channel with those notifications turned on, and let me know down in the comments below, do you guys prefer the Kastov 545 or do you guys like the Kastov 762? I think, honestly, I like the 762 a lot, but the 545 is just a lot more versatile. It just feels a lot better. And I'm going to go into the firing range now and show you guys how good this class actually is. So the ADS for an AR is pretty nice. The sprint to fire as well is pretty good. And you guys can see the lack of recoil on this gun and the amount of shots it takes it's good. It's a solid class, all right? Boom, 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 bang, bang. All right, let's go on to the actual class setup. So I got Stim Shot, Thermite, and then for the perk package, we got Double Time Scavenger, Cold-Blooded, Birdseye, and Dead Silence. Let's move on to, or I got the X12 as well. And then if you guys want to see the attachments, there it is. Go ahead and pause it, but check it out. This is the actual attachments for the multiplayer class setup. So first off, we got the Zulu 60 muzzle, which in my opinion is a really good muzzle, and it gives you sound suppression, which is, it's good, it's all right, it's decent. You got bullet velocity, which is really nice. It helps those shots go faster, further. And then you got recoil smoothness, so that your recoils aren't all over the place, and recoil control, so it's a lot easier to actually control. Now the cons are kind of bad. You lose ADS, you lose aiming stability, aim walking speed, and damage range, but it ain't the worst. You go into the tuning, the ADS you're gonna put at 0.68. If you change it any higher or lower, it makes no difference at all. I wish you could actually max it out and it actually maxed out the attachment. I wish that's how it worked, but that's not how it works. And then for the bullet velocity, we're gonna go at 0.52. That's the best tuning you guys could put for this attachment right here on this weapon. The next attachment is the barrel, the IGK 3406mm, which gives you bullet velocity, recoil control, damage range, and hipfire accuracy. This is good because this attachment is built for range, but it gives you hipfire accuracy in case someone comes up to you while you're trying to get those long shots. You can just pop on them, turn, shoot, and don't even ADS yet, and you'll hit some of those shots. Now, the cons are kind of bad as well. You lose ADS, some movement speed, and some hip recoil control, but we're going to fix all that right here in the tuning. The tuning for the recoil steadiness is going to be at 0.35, and then for the ADS, we're going to put it at 0.22. Now, the reason you don't want to put it any higher or lower for the ADS is because it starts taking away a lot of the range and a lot of the damage. So somewhere around the 0.22 mark is the best because you get max damage and range while keeping the ADS at the max you could get it at, so that's really nice. The next attachment is the DXS Flash 90 laser. You get a flashlight, which is also a con. It's visible to the enemies. You also get sprint to fire, which is amazing on this weapon, and then you get aiming stability. You can't actually tune this one, but it is what it is. And you guys are going to see the class that we're going to use for Warzone is slightly different than this one, but not completely different. But let's get into it. So, or let's finish this one, then we'll get into that one. The stock is the F-TAC Elite stock. You might not have been able to see it, maybe my face cam was covering it, I'm not sure. This one gives you recoil control. This is good. This you want, especially for those long shots. You want this attachment on. It gives you ADS and crouch movement speed. You go into the tuning. The ADS we're going to put at 1.68, and then we're going to leave the aiming, walking speed, and aiming idle stability exactly at 0. You're not going to touch that one. You're going to leave it as is. The final attachment for the multiplayer class is going to be the rear grip, and that is the true tack grip for sprint to fire speed and ADS. That's amazing. That's actually a really good attachment. Oops, my bad. That's actually a really good attachment. So the tuning on this one is going to give you ADS at 0.77 and sprint to fire at 0.10. That might seem pretty low, but if you guys look at this, it actually doesn't change much. It gets lower, the accuracy gets worse, but if you leave it at like 0.10, the accuracy is actually at a decent amount out. It's closer, like it's leaning more towards accuracy, while the handling doesn't change at all. It stays there, so leaving it at 0.10 is actually a decent option. Now, for the Warzone class, there's going to be a few things you want to switch out here. So the first one is going to be the rear grip. You could take that off. You don't need sprint to fire speed, and you don't need ADS. And then I have this one unlocked, which is flinch resistance. You don't really need this either. And then this one right here for recoil control. I got to get my RPK. I never leveled that thing up. You got to get it leveled up, and it might be worth it. But so far, I have none that are worth it. So instead, I'm going to go down to the magazine, and what I'm going to do is throw on the 60-round mags. If this was a drum mag, I wouldn't put it on. But because it's just a regular mag, it's actually a pretty pretty decent one and a pretty decent option. Now, you lose a lot on this, okay? You lose movement speed, ADS, reload quickness, and sprint to fire. But if you're playing Warzone with this class, you're using this class more for mid to long range. So if that's the case, you don't really need to worry about ADS or sprint to fire or anything. You should already have a secondary weapon ready for those ranges. Then you guys could choose an optic if you want. But if we go into the firing range, I want to show you guys something. It's very clear. You could see that body clearly with the sight. So I wouldn't waste an attachment on an optic, to be honest with you guys. Now, a laser, I don't really need on this weapon right here. I don't feel like it's useful in Warzone for at least this gun. I don't feel like using it, so we're gonna take that off, and it opens up another space for an attachment, but we're gonna get into that in a minute. Next off, we're gonna go to the barrel, and what we got here is the IGK-30, which is actually the best one in terms of damage range and everything. It's actually really, really good. All the other ones are slightly worse than this one, so I would leave it as is. But in the tuning, instead of putting the ADS up, you're going to want to put that damage range up as high as you can, which is actually right here. It's actually maxed out on this one, which is really nice. And then the recoil steadiness you can leave at 0.35. So instead of like the multiplayer class, instead of focusing on ADS, we're going to focus on damage range for this attachment instead, and it still works out really good. Then for the muzzle, we're not going to actually run this one right here. You do get sound suppression, bullet velocity, recoil smoothness, and recoil control, which is really nice to get, but we don't really need all that. There's a lot of negatives to this. Yeah, you lose damage range, you lose quite a bit of stuff. So aiming stability as well. So when you're just aiming down sights, you lose that as well. You lose a lot. So instead, what I would focus on is probably this one right here, which gives you damage range, bullet velocity, sound suppression, and recoil smoothness. You get a decent amount of stuff with this, and you only lose a little bit of aiming stability and ADS speed. So this attachment is a lot better for Warzone, and that's the Echoless 80. And then in the tuning for this one, the recoil smoothness, as you guys can see, we're gonna see what we could do here. We could actually max it out as well, it looks like. Actually, we'll leave it right here. It makes no difference. Only the handling, the ADS will be a little bit quicker if we leave it here. So at 0.92 for this one. And then bullet velocity or aiming stability, we're actually gonna focus on the bullet velocity a lot more than anything, and leaving it right about here seems like to be a perfect number, which is at 0.60 towards bullet velocity. Now, like I said earlier, we have space for one more attachment. You guys could choose an underbarrel or ammunition. Now, honestly, ammunition, it's all right. You guys could definitely run whatever you want here. They do help out sometimes, but I don't feel like you really need that in Warzone. So we're going to work on an underbarrel, and what you're going to want to work is on something that gives you recoil stabilization, because we have recoil control, we have recoil smoothness. You want stabilization, so it stabilizes that recoil and keeps it kind of centered. So the Commando foregrip is actually a really good option, but then we got some different options as well. And as you guys can see, the Edge 47 grip actually gives a little more recoil stabilization. This one here seems to be the best. The FTAC Ripper 56, at least for my testing, this one's the best one. If you don't have it, these two are great options, but this one right here is actually solid. And then for the actual tuning on this one, the recoil stabilization, look how fat this thing gets, all right? Like, just look how fat that gets. You guys could throw it, don't max it out completely, at around 0.60, I'm trying to get it there. 0.61 I have it at, that's really good. And then for the aiming idle stability or aiming walking speed, I'm gonna put the idle stability just slightly higher, just so that accuracy goes up a little bit as well. Now we go into the firing range, and you guys are gonna see it's a lot slower. The ADS is super slow on this gun, but when you go for those shots, there's like no recoil whatsoever. It actually goes down a bit because it's trying to stabilize. So you could hit those long shots, you could hit every range, and it actually does go off. Now let's test the hip fire, because the hip fire shouldn't be too good on this gun, and it actually isn't. It still killed the guy, but you saw I missed like 4 or 5 shots, but it's still decent. So that's the class for Warzone. The other class was for multiplayer. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to drop a like, sub to the channel if those notifications turned on, and let me know down in the comments below. Are you a 762 is it? 762 or 545 Kastov guy? Let me know down in the comments. Thank you guys for watching. My name is Nick, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.